Hi everyone, welcome back to Mad About Cards and Crafts. Today I'm sharing this adorable slimline card. I'm using several products from Fawn. This is the process portion of the video. I will have a separate video with the coloring. So let's jump into the products that I'm using. I'm using the special delivery box add-on. I actually end up using the dies to cut those hearts out, but I didn't show that. I'm using Butterfly Kisses. I also am using a grass die, which I will list in the description box below that I'm not showing. This is Seasons Tweetings. It was a Simon Says stamp exclusive. The large slimline with sliders. I'm using the largest die. Picked Raspberry, Rustic Wilderness, Lucky Clover, and Shaded Lilac, for my Distress Oxide. I have cut a panel out using Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I've taken the wire from the Seasons Tweetings. This will ground my birds that will be in the air dropping their cute little letters to the critters below. This is an MFT stencil and I'm using that Shaded Lilac, but unfortunately I didn't realize that I forgot to wash it out before I put it away, and it has a little bit of gray on it. So you're going to notice that it really looks like a stormy sky. And if I ever need a stormy sky, I know the color combination to use, but that's not what I was going for today. So I am going over that with the Picked Raspberry, which worked out just fine. I still have a little bit of the color variation and you can still see a little bit of the clouds behind it. I decided to spray it with my Distress sprayer, and I will use my Ranger heat tool to dry that, and I'll just get a little bit of ink splattering, and not only that, but it will lighten up the ink as well. Here is that grass border that I used. I'm going to take the same large slimline with sliders. I want to keep the continuity of the stitching that's all around the edges. So I take it over to my die cutting machine and I cut it out and I get that beautiful stitching, so everything is going to match beautifully. I started with the Lucky Clover, but I decided that it was still a little bit too spring-like and I wanted something that was a little bit darker. So I am going to bring in the Rustic Wilderness right here. And again, this is the Distress Oxide. I'll deepen the color and then I will spray it with my Distress sprayer. And once I do that, I will bring that Ranger heat tool back in again and I'm going to dry this off. One of the things that you will notice is that when you add water to the Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock, that you are going to get warping from excessive spraying, which, as I said, I did a pretty heavy spray. And that's okay because I'm going to be using some double-sided adhesive, and this will keep the panel nice and flat. So I'm going to remove the adhesive backing. I'm going to place this onto my card base, and then I've added some 2-inch backing to my card panel. And that is a card base that is 8.5 by 3.5. I'm going to center this on there. It is Nina Solar White 80-pound as well. So I had a little bit of wrinkling. I need to straighten this out just a little bit. And there you have it. All right, now we're going to start on with the scene building. I'm going to lay my hearts out. Those are the hearts from the special delivery package. And I'm going to end up adhering these directly to the card panel. So this is probably, this and the grass are the two things that do not have any dimension to them. Everything else does. I kind of look at people adding foam tape and the release paper, taking the release paper off. I liken it to watching paint dry, and so I try to cut it out of my videos as much as possible. So you can, if you don't see that I have added the adhesive, the foam adhesive to the back, you can know that those are all popped up. I wanted to make sure that my little chicks are throwing the letters down to the recipients below, so I need to glue some of these to their little wings. And that's what I'm doing right here. I do use my reverse tweezers to hold them in place while they're drying, and it takes just a couple of minutes. I'm using art glitter glue to glue everything. I'm going to cut in between the arms of my little fox so that he can hold the butterfly net a little bit better. I'll tuck it behind him, and then I'll glue the excess so that it stays in place. And then, of course, I've added eventually the double-sided foam tape to the back of that as well. So now I'm going to figure out where I want the clouds, make sure this is where I want all of my little images. And that looks good to me, so I'm going to start gluing down my hearts. And I only used 4 of them. Now this does come, the Seasons Tweetings, as I said, it was an exclusive for Stamptember. It's not available in the Simon Says Stamp store. I'm sure that Lawn Fawn has many chicks that are available. These are just the ones that I have, and so I figured that I would, instead of using Christmas lights, which they had available in this stamp set, I was going to add the hearts to it to create a little bit of a Valentine feel if I wanted to use it for that, or maybe even a birthday or an anniversary card. As you can see, I did add that double-sided tape to the back of both of those chicks. That's where I've decided to place them. And finally this one, and now we're going to determine where we want our clouds. I know one of them is going to go behind the head of the chick on the left. And then I'm going to put the one on the right a little bit higher than my card panel, but that's okay because it's still going to fit into the envelope because it's not hanging over the edge. I'm going to tuck the little mail bag behind my bear that I've glued down. Now you can see that I have stamped my sentiment. Unfortunately, my camera stopped recording. The battery went dead. I'm going to lay down my little fox, and then I'm going to put this final cloud on. So as I was saying, my camera, the battery went dead right in the middle of my stamping. I did stamp that using Versamark ink. I put it into my Misti, and I stamped the message that says a little message to say. And as I said, you can say happy birthday on the inside, happy anniversary, I love you. These letters could be containing any message. I wanted to add the little trails, and so that it shows that they're falling down. So I did make sure that I strategically placed the envelope where I wanted it on this first one, because I want this to be almost caught. And then I'm going to stamp it 2 more times. I am using the same Versamark ink for this. I get a nice crisp image. And so this one's coming down. And they're dropping these fast. Those little chicks, boy, they're right on it. And the little bear at the bottom, he's the mail carrier, and he's the one that's going to eventually gather them up. But the cute little fox is the one who's collecting. If you notice, I will show a close-up at the very end. I'll show a couple close-ups of the top of the card and the bottom of the card. I did add little eyelashes to my girl animals. So the bunny and the fox both have cute little eyelashes, and the little chick in the middle, she is a female chick as well. I am using that same foam tape to add the rest of my letters. If you notice, I have some upside down. I have the orientation changed on all of them. Here I'm going to lay this down, and off camera I decide that I don't like it, that space above the butterfly net is a little bit too bare for me. So I will add some foam tape to the back of that, and I will adhere that to my card. And that's going to be my card for today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe and ring the bell so that you're notified whenever I do upload another video. Here is a close-up. I'm going to show you a couple more. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous day.